Hello you, hello traveler, and welcome back to the Definitely Greece channel. This video is going to be a little bit special because it's actually our first trip after COVID restrictions have started to lift in Greece, and we're trying to explore every little remote part of Greece, little villages and areas that are less touristy and known to avoid the crowds and have a fantastic time. We're over here in the mountain of Pilio, or Pelion in English, and we're about to show you all the amazing things you can do in the area, so stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. So first things first, Pilio is kind of in the middle of Greece and it's a very famous destination for Europeans and Greeks alike. But before we show you all the things there are to see around, let's talk accommodation. In that department, I think we hit gold. We're staying in a little family-owned farm. Kaiskos farm is just a few kilometers outside of the little village of Portaria. And it's just a perfect spot to relax, enjoy nature and all the amazing animals around, which I will show you one by one. Which is also perfect for the situation. We're still socially isolating, the farm is small, there's only one room here, but most boutique hotels in the area are actually really small, so Pilio overall, it's a great destination if you're trying to avoid the crowds. So let me take you around the farm for a second. We have cows, goats, an amazing herb garden, strawberries, ponies, roosters that you can pick eggs from the hen house and have breakfast with in the morning. On the farm there's usually held also cooking lessons, so just up the top you can find a little house where people come and learn about the traditional cuisine of Pilio. But of course make sure to check ahead with activity. The farm is run by Eleni, a beautiful lady that will pour her heart out to help you make your stay just amazing, give you lots of local tips and maybe treat you to some homemade pita as well, if you're very lucky. As we always say, mix with the locals, and what a great opportunity it is if you're staying in a place like this. If you're staying near the village of Portaria, one of the bigger villages in the area, you're very close to other little villages to explore. One of the closest one, Makrinitsa, is set amphitheatrically on the hill of Pilion, so you can enjoy spectacular views of the Gulf. The local architecture is beautiful, the stone-clad alleyways. In general, some villages may be close to each other, but it's highly recommended you hire a car so you can explore around the area. Always be careful with the roads, it is a mountain and they can be quite narrow and zigzag. But it's a wonderful experience overall and you will get to enjoy a lot of the nature in the in-between. Obviously we're visiting during the summer, so we did a lot of the summer activities, but Pilion is also a perfect winter destination with a ski field up the top and the traditional houses with their fireplaces and their stone architecture is just the perfect setting for a winter getaway. One thing not to be missed is if you're visiting during the summer and you pay close attention when you're driving around, you will see a multitude of cherry trees full of fruit. Again, the area is very known for the amazing variety of local produce, whether it's fruit like apples, cherries, pears, chestnuts, or herbs that it produces, honey of course as well. So if you're driving around and you see little kiosks, make sure you stop and buy some of the freshest honey or fruit you have ever tasted. Also, another thing to watch out for is the water. There's water coming out of the whole mountain. You will see fresh water springs pretty much every few hundred meters. They will be around the villages, they will be on the road, and in most of them it's perfectly safe to drink it. This is because it comes from within the mountain and those springs are actually the first exit point into and contact with the air that the water gets. With COVID season still around, a lot of people are looking into RV hire, road trips, alternative trips, so that they can be socially isolating while traveling. So drop your travel plans on the comments below so we can get more wonderful ideas about what to do while pandemic season is still on. What's really spectacular about the region and just blows my mind is how you can be up in the mountains essentially skiing, and within 30 minutes you can be on a beautiful beach having a cocktail or just swimming around. According to the locals, a must-see over here is the little village of Damoukari. This is a little port where you can have lunch, but it's also extra special because it was chosen by the Mamma Mia production for a few scenes in the movie to be filmed. Have a walk around the traditional little port, have lunch, and then you can explore further up the hill for some spectacular views of the Gulf. Pylio, of course, is very close to the island of Skopelos, where most of Mamma Mia was filmed. So again, if you're visiting in the summer, you can combine the island and the mainland together. Perfect combination. So let's talk a little bit history. Pylio was known as the mountain of centaurs, and was also the spot where Asclepios and Hippocrates, ancient guys that loved medicine, just walked and roamed around. They wrote a lot about the local herbs and medicinal plants found here. Another great spot to visit very close to Makrinitsa is actually Center Spa. It's a little hike that it's very short. It's nothing technical, so you can walk in any shoes around. You're walking along a pathway that follows the natural springs. There's butterflies flying around, and overall just a great spot to relax, cool down, take some pictures. While we were here, something that the locals suggested we do was visit the old train station of Milies. That's a bit of a drive away, but definitely a worthy spot to visit. They have spectacular food in the village, and when you visit the old train station, they told us don't just stop there, but actually walk along the tracks for about 10 minutes. It's a beautiful pathway that follows the gorge, and suddenly it opens up. You have a majestic view of the mountain and this huge iron bridge that this old train pathway used to follow. Of course, there's so many more things to do in Pylio. There's no shortage of activities around here. We were only visiting for a few days, but other things that were highly recommended to us by our trusted locals was mountain biking holidays that can be from a few days long to a few hours long, depending on what you like, of course. There's plenty of hikes to choose from. You can get a local guide if you want something more advanced. There's also horse riding that can take up to a few days or a few hours, again, depending on what you like. I hope you liked this video and you found a little bit of inspiration of what travel to do in Greece while the season is still on. So if you are visiting a little bit more of Greece, make sure to check out our other videos to get more amazing travel inspiration. As always, thank you for watching and hope to see you in Greece soon!